Dumelang, what's up? What's good people? As you know, Ken Gogo Moyo, and I'm with a homie of mine, and Nakalibitoke.
Hi everyone, my name is Kwanele, also known as AKA Goats, Goaty Digital, Goats at Digital, Goaty What is Space.
Yes.
Mbuzi kaGogo.
All of them.
Not this
What did
Gogo.
you say?
No, that's my nickname, literally.
Okay,
Before I even knew you.
Fresh. I like that. Anyway, guys, today's Tangene. So we can talk about our opinions, our views, and what our takeaways was from this
Season 2.
Yeah, from season 2 of Living Life. Is it Life with Kelly?
No, it's Life with Kelly Kumalo.
Yeah, Life with Kelly
Season
Kumalo.
2, Life with Kelly Kumalo.
So yeah, where do you want to start?
From the beginning. Let's start with like the general themes that came up in the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think something that stands out for me from the jump was her relationship with her kids. That was something that I found was, yeah, no, Kaylee loves being a mom. Hey, like she pulls through, even from birthday parties to just like basic things, even checking up on school and all those things. I'm glad Mama K also is there because she also is able to help her quite a lot with that as well. So I think that was my biggest thing. And also trying to, also when they went for ice cream and Konja, what's the uncle's name?
Tingo and
Tingo.
the Christian, yes. Tingo and Christian.
Tingo was like, so Manje, is daddy gonna be home when we come back? And I'm thinking Ukeli has to deal with like serious questions that are not always top of mind. And you can have a conversation with yourself for so we're going to have the conversation. It's like the birds and the bees. The day is gonna come where we have to talk about these things. But now when it happens and like we're in public and like it's a random Saturday and we're hoping that it's just gonna be casual and I'm hit with such a bomb.
The hard questions.
It's hot like a heater. What do you do?
I think I think that's what I really loved about the season is that like you really got that insight that like Kelly is very hands on.
Yeah.
With like you can say or think or whatever you like everybody has opinions on Kelly, but when you see the show and when you watch the show, you see that she's a very present mom. The way she talks to her kids, addresses issues. She's very honest with them. He's very open with them and tells them what it is and is there at every step. Like as much as she's busy doing a lot of things going on in her life, but she's there. Also beautiful to see that the grandmother's there, them mending their own personal relationship.
Yeah.
So the kids was a very beautiful perspective of getting to know who Kelly is. So yeah.
Very true. And I'm glad you touched on the part that Gogo and Ukeli and the relationship that they have. And then you realize, Guti, guys, as a woman and I have children and I'm always hoping for the best for my children, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to get it right, because as part of my upbringing, it's also because of Nami Bankulise Ganjani. And when you look at the struggle between Mamake and her, it shows that there was actual work that needed to be done there. I'm also very proud of the fact that they showed them visiting a psychologist, which in the black community is shunned upon. Like, don't you dare, like you're such a weak person. We don't talk about our issues, nabanye bantu. And a lot of that needs to be dispelled because even us as viewers, we learn so much about actually being able to being that vulnerable and going to have those cries and have someone who's literally impartial in the room, like literally open to whatever it is that you're talking about, literally changes lives. And those were like my biggest things. Hey, like, yeah, man. And also I think just having a series altogether is something that's commendable, especially if you're going to be so vulnerable, share the deepest part of your life, some embarrassing things
in front of cameras too.
My guy.
Also, like not just going to therapy, you also going to therapy in front of a camera for the whole world to see. So that's also like for that honesty and openness to come through. That also very commendable. Like I think also what I like with around the theme of them going to therapy as a family, because the mom went to therapy, the kids started going to therapy, Kaylee as well, and then also them also joined sessions. It's also then also them also bringing the spiritual traditional elements of it, of like there's healing, that healing isn't, you know,
Linear.
linear. So there's the multiple aspects of it, of then there's the spiritual, there's the family healing that needs to happen, there's the individual, there's the kids, there's the, you know, and they dealt with all of that, and they showed us how that also can live together or coincide without, you know, it's all healing at the end of the day. You want to be a holistic human being who's dealt with all their trauma, and there's trauma from a spiritual realm, where we are on earth in our lives. So I loved how they mirrored or had that coexist in the series, and them going to the traditional healer as well as them going to the psychologist, which I've always believed it's one thing. It's all part of, it is part of psychology, going to traditional healer.
Definitely.
So yeah, I really enjoyed that theme of the season as well. Yeah, and also the friendship.
Before we get to the friendship, and you talking about the cohesion of a psychologist as well as Wunyanga, you know.
Is this getting personal? I must answer a question.
No. I'm
okay.
just adding on to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's also a part, there's an episode where Ukeli called her pastor, and the pastor was like, lol, are you back again? Almost like there was a repetitive cycle in Kelly's life in terms of semazi uKelly uzohamba ayopractice ubunyanga bakhe, or go do the traditional stuff that she does, aphinde abuye, because even the conversation with the pastor, he wasn't surprised. It's almost like we've been here before. And what came up for me in that regard was that Ukeli found herself literally stuck in between two worlds, you know. She was accepting of both, open enough to actually say, as in Ngunobizo, and I'm going to try it out and see what's going on, because obviously for you to go through something that's challenging, there's enough motivation via your dreams, via your person, via the people around you and the conversations that you have, for you to end up saying, actually, I'm gonna go and see what's on the other side of this wall, you know. And there's also conversations and episodes where she talks about how she went to Epetleni multiple times, and she still holds the conversation of, I don't connect, you know, like I don't connect, I don't resonate, I literally put my best at doing this. And Axelula, for an average person, what more when you're a familiar face? How much of you is being received in that space? Are they seeing you as Ukeli, you know, or are they seeing you as this grand songstress? Like, how much of that was really authentic in her experience, you know, to a point where it ended up affecting her relationship, you know. But at the end of the day, even towards episode 11, when they actually do go home, and the conversations leading up to that, the conversation of Masia Matuneni, make sure what isn't just to show that the energy naturally is embedded within her, that it's just that she had experiences that left her questioning if this is truly and innately her path.
Yeah, no, very true. It's also how she, as you said, like calling the pastor to then also like subuile wena futhi type of thing. It just shows also how set in discovering these truths that she is. That, like, I personally, as umuntu wakazi, I personally would find that, like, after the second time, I'd be like, this is clearly not for me.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? But she's,
and it's actually quite costly as well. A win, you know,
it's
and
not just
grace and favor, like.
And it's the time also, you know, there's the time cost of it. What, 6 months?
Interruption in your work, the children's lives. It's a lot. So for her to also still be like trying to seek these answers, and also being set and like, okay, this might not have worked, I'm not gonna give up and say this doesn't work. And she'll go again and go seek. She even went to go seek. Okay, Gogo, what could be the issue? There was a Gogo on the show who was talking to her about what's going on.
Then maybe you going to the wrong person, or whatever reasons that could be the causing that block. We even discussed it on one of the spaces. So I think that also then shows what kind of determined person that she is.
Definitely.
Who's also accepted her truths and her journey, and also the different aspects of herself, because we're not one-dimensional people
at all.
And that's why she can go back to church and then also go back and be like, yo, but I have a gift that I need to, this is how it manifests in my life and I'm performing. I can feel it come through. And I know that I have this gift. And I've been to people, I might not have gotten all of the answers, but the answers that I have gotten have led me down to be more inquisitive, want to go back down this path. So that's another light to Kelly that I was like really impressed by, or really like,
I know Kelly is really gifted, hey, like
yeah,
on so many levels. I was actually sharing Nokwanele. That's what
Yeah.
I was sharing Nokwanele earlier about how I had a dream about Kelly many years ago, even before I applied, or when she started being public about her experience, and she was in her full regalia. So Itonga will never show a version of you which is not true. You know what I mean? So by me seeing her in that regard, because also in the dream itself, so I know that a part of Ukeli is actually a healer. Perhaps on her journey, noma amadlozi asettle into being, submissive to that particular individual, because Itonga will always show you if you're in the right relationship romantically, or whether you're in the right job, or whether you're in the right relationship even as a teacher and a student. They're always going to make sure, because for you to go there in the first place, in your spirit, in your home, for you to go seek that intervention. So speaking towards her talents, she is actually a healer. In my heart of hearts, I believe that, and she's a gifted mother, because you being able to birth a child does not mean that you're a good mother.
Yeah.
And we've seen Ukeli be absolutely amazing at that. And the fact that in the music space, like, she is a force to be reckoned with. And as much
Voice
as
of Africa.
Yo, no, that woman, she got pipes for days. Like, Ukeli is
I don't think people can dispute that claim, because people can claim anything.
Ever. And I think the biggest losses that she ever had was with Robbie Malinga, honestly, because they had some kind of relationship, and I think on its own, it was also had a spiritual element to it. I don't know, but I just feel like there was a spiritual relationship there that allowed the two of them to get the best out of each other. Which song Yaga Kelly no Robbie was never a hit? Zero, Yeah. So those are one of the things that come to mind, especially when I watch her and I see, because sometimes did Robbie pass away while they were shooting? Not, no.
I believe they were recording an album at the time.
Okay, but nothing ever was visual for the public to see her mourn this relationship.
No. Not even in season 1. I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I think it would have been so interesting to see her go through that transition, because I feel like there's no way Ukeli could have been the same after that. Like, I just don't know. For some reason, my mind is set on it like that. But I want to.
Okay, I wanted to ask you also.
Yeah.
You said that you had a dream before even the show was even created.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't even know that part about Ukeli. Do you think that dream is linked to you now sitting here possibly talking about Kelly's content or and her journey? Is that, I don't know, there's just like something there that like...
Okay. Like how I say there's something there about Robbie and her relationship. I can get that, But honestly, I was even saying to you, like, everything works in full circle, like... That's why they always say, don't burn bridges, guys. Like, don't think that I've done something or saying figure to a certain level and, like, I can share opinions about whatever I feel I know. Like, I'm a healer. I've been a healer for enough years. 12 years and plus, right? And because I've got the knowledge that I have about intwaso and experiences and what could cause you not go to twaso or pindu your twasa many times, all those information, it's easy for me to step on a live and want to judge. Kelly, and want to judge her lifestyle or anything like that and say she probably wasn't as fully invested. She probably wanted to make as grepe out of a here type of thing, and bring in things that don't even add or take away from the actual experience. But imagine if I had become one of those people that found it so easy to just share information without repercussion, and then look at the irony of how things work around, and I'm being asked to have an opinion, on her life based on the series that she had. It's crazy, but I do actually believe that even when I had the dream that there would be a day when I do meet her, because our interaction was us acknowledging each other, even on an ancestral level, so that's how I could say, as far as saying that bekanenhlonipho eningi towards umsebenzi wakhe. I don't think that she would have had it just randomly for a person estradini and she lacked it basamfundisa emagcekeni. So yeah, it's quite crazy.
Okay, I hear you.
Let's talk about that friendship, friend.
What friendship hurts?
Yeah. Where did you go?
Well,
Come back.
Can I take a sip of my drink, please?
Do best. Grancho.
Shut up. I'm just like, I'm growing. Let me puff my hubby and keep quiet.
Oh, nothing, keep it quiet.
No, okay. I definitely want to talk about their friendship because, the friendship between Kelly, Wanda, and Brenda.
Yeah.
Is, man, it's such a beautiful friendship.
I'm pro that friendship, hey?
Yeah.
I'm pro that friendship. There was a gentleman who would show up time and again within the friendship. But to me, I felt like he is almost friends by association of work more than them choosing to be part of their friendship like the ladies are. And you know how TV does, Brad? It's going to make you assume things even before they show up. Like how we all assumed that Brenda didn't come to Wanda's birthday because Wanda and Brenda actually had a situation.
Yeah.
Only to find out the situation was between Kelly and Brenda.
Yeah.
And little did everyone know is that Brenda was actually going through hell. Like she was transitioning and having baby daddy issues, trying to get into a new house, buy a new house. And
it was a lot going on.
It was a lot going on for her. So it was, no man, it was crazy. And yeah.
Another interesting thing with, as you're saying, that like perceptions or how we jump to assumptions as people was that like, I think the general assumption, or maybe from my end, was that Ukeli was the person that brought these people together. Because you would seem like, no, Wanda looks like a totally different person. Brenda is only to learn that actually Wanda and Brenda actually knew each other way before they knew Kelly.
Yes.
And even how the friendship formed.
Yep.
Yeah, just like a genuine friendship outside of this person, this person, because they're all like these people in their own rights, famous and talented and all that, but they gravitated to each other like in a genuine just like friendship that brought them together. So like even with the drama with the birthday parties, and then like discovering that like I think for me it was a big indicator on how we allow each other as friends to because people deal with things differently. So
totally,
like a person like Brenda might like close up. Hermit mode, don't want to speak to anybody. I'll let you know my singing sharp. And then other people might also feel like, no man, but friend, you need to, you owe me to tell me if you
that's also true.
If you're not, in the good space, so that just let me know that you're okay, you're sharp, you'll talk when you're ready. So those kind of dynamics came through a lot through the season, and just how they dealt with them, and just like speaking. At the end of the day, I think it always comes down to communication, because people like different things. Like some people don't like phone calls, some people don't like video calls. Text before you call. Those are things that you discover when you get to know people and understand the friendship dynamics or whatever relationship that you have. It's communicating, and then adjusting to fit the people in your life, because. And
not imposing your way of living to other people just because you're a video calling friend. I don't like video calls, friend, and that should be okay. I don't love you any less. So even when we deal with our problems, you should literally step aside and let your friend teach you how they communicate. It's going to make for a more of a lasting friendship when it comes to that. I think my biggest takeaways was also learning about Wanda, especially when they went to Mozambique, a very beautiful country. And you learn about the hardships that she's gone through, all the things that she's going through in her family. And when you look at people face value, guys, do you know how quickly we judge?
Oh, you see the social.
He's not bleeding.
The what?
He's not bleeding. He's tweeting like everyone. Meanwhile, this person is going through so much. But I specifically appreciated when Uwanda took Ukeli to go meet the minister of Mozambique, and it was like a whole womanhood conversation about I've always been singing in my country, but I love the fact that I can come here and meet the world leaders of this country, especially them being female as well. So I found it to be very pro womanhood as well. Even Uwanda taking her to go meet someone as prevalent as that. I mean, it was a whole city tour. It doesn't necessarily mean that she had to go that deep in, in context to make sure that she also has a footprint when it comes to Mozambique. Now she also opened up a path with Timpinji, Naituba, and see what kind of conversation can come from that. Tomorrow, Ukeli could be touring all of Mozambique because of the fact that their friend had foresight and not limited to, I just want to show you in Mozambique.
Yeah, no, that's also true. Also, with their friendship, it was the whole how it wasn't based off drama. Like you'd assume reality shows, women together, dramatic, all that, like other series of reality shows. Like with them, it didn't lose you because they wasn't drama or just like fake drama that's created just so you captivate as an audience. You could just revel in them being genuine people, like the parents are like dealing with real issues that like women go through, even Wanda and the whole baby situation and how her friends came and supported her, and like those were actually very interesting like topics that they delved in with their lives, but it wasn't focused on the men and the what. It was really just like, yo, we real people, we are here, this is our lives, and we're sharing them with you. And you could take a lot. Like, I'm a guy, but I could also feel like the struggle that Wanda was talking about, trying to conceive, and there are issues around that. And yeah, like I have you can have similar things that you go through as a person that aren't really the exact same, but you can relate to. So that's like, I really did enjoy seeing that part, that them being vulnerable and talking openly about just growing older, maturing, like getting to 40, and it's a journey of life that we all go through. So watching it through someone's lens and saying like, oh shit, we actually all go through. Yeah. We all go through life.
Rich, famous, doesn't matter. Life is a serving for all of us.
Yeah.
No, that was actually a great season, to be honest. Another point that I'd like your opinion on was the whole Kelly sharing with her audience that she did try to reach out to Christian's dad countless times, and that didn't necessarily yield any positive results. Meanwhile, the kid looks like a spitting image of his dad, like and
okay, no, I don't.
Don't be spicy. Don't be spicy.
No, I'm just trying to remember if that was the situation. No, that wasn't.
No.
Nobody's in. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's not the approach. So I'd like to ask you, Uguti, as a gent, and you're young, you wanna start your own family when God permits, and then you look at the struggles that Christian has in his everyday boy life at school and how rebellious he's becoming. How much of that do you think stems from the fact that Baba is not around, yet he's literally in the same city as you, and you don't have a relationship with him? And at school, you're watching all these other boys get dropped off by their dads. How much of that do you think a Christian is actually portraying in his actions? Because Papa can't say like a snap or singular kopana lena, a singular kopana, but I cannot relationship lena.
Tough one. I mean, I think it definitely is tied to him lashing out and getting to the stage. I mean, he's 11, 12, going into his teens. So that is a very particular phase as a boy child. Impressionable phase where you're dealing with your own self, like your body's changing, your hormones are changing. You're going through things.
You look at girls differently all of a sudden.
Those
humps on their chest.
What did they say, the blue movie or black?
Yes, I remember with the white girl.
Like all of those things that are happening now. He's figuring this life thing as as a preteen on his not on his own, but it's still missing. Maybe I could say that that
those pieces
that he's trying to figure out, that possibly would be
a lot easier if dad was around.
Yeah, to speak to his dad about, or just, and I think it's also the frustration of maybe, I don't know how sheltered their lives are, but both of your parents are public figures. There's things that will get to you. That like your dad's on a national team.
Break, you could be showing you a picture of your dad.
A clip, because they have phones also. A clip from Moja Lab. It's like, yo, this is your dad. Kids at school are also, they could be bullies. They could be, kids are mean, but kids also talk. So, this is what I heard about your mom. This is what I've heard about your dad. And you also have to deal with like now the outside world as well as your own personal things that you maybe cannot share with that person that you really want to address it with. So I think as he grows, it'll definitely still play out more. Could lead either way. It might be him reaching out to finally, like, I'm old enough now, yo dad, what's the situation, what's going on, you tell me your side then, if you
especially
if I couldn't
if you
get
say
access. Because all I get is I'm seeing clips from like whatever they haven't spoken with the kid, and so it could also just be him then like finding the sign like, okay, I don't actually want to deal with this, I'm cutting you out of my life. So go either way, but it definitely does affect how he's lashing out or how he's acting in this particular period of his life. And just to speak on a personal level, like it'll always catch up to you, like things that you don't heal from or deal with.
Definitely.
Like I'm at this ripe age, I'm at qualifying to vaccine, but I'm only addressing things now with my dad. Like,
sure,
that happened when I was literally Christian's age. We literally had to sit down, address it as a family, have one-on-ones with them personally. And it's also now because we both adults can talk like man to man
without emotions.
Yes. And he's had to say his piece, apologize, own up, explain, all of those things, because those things don't leave you. So Christian will at some point have to deal with that aspect, and it would be outside of he said she said between Kelly and the dad. It would be then them directly addressing him, because he'd have to say like, this is what XYZ did to me.
Hopefully it won't be too detrimental to find Christian absconding to such a point that he ends up with, being exposed to drugs or a life of crime, or just being a really, really, a child desperate to get answers or attention in any way because he lacked it from his dad. Wow, that's actually, the Christian part is actually quite sad. It's also one of those things that it's not even what's worse. Christian, but like there's not even like a lesser evil, you know, because Tingo can make peace with the fact that Baba died a hero. My dad was a superstar. Like no one can take that away from her. Baba just met his untimely death when he did. Unfortunate enough to be of his seed, that I am my dad's, versus the conversation with Christians. So that's also quite a tricky one. And hopefully, like how you're doing now, he's able to have a conversation with his dad later.
Because also, just to add to that, it actually, like, trauma is trauma. Like, you can't say,
you can't belittle my trauma just because you don't understand
because Tingo's dad passed away. She has to deal with that also. That like, my dad, Christian's dad is there but not present in his life. My dad is present in life. I left him at home now with his wife, my mama, but there's still trauma there. So everybody's like, when we sometimes have these things, it's like, absent fathers, present fathers, I mean, all of relationships bring experiences that might be traumatic or that shape you in whatever way or form, or build you to become the person that you eventually end up becoming. So there's something to be dealt with there, because even in a loving home and two present parents, and
there's still things.
There's still things.
There's still
like your
things.
dad forgets you to pick you up from school, and that's the worst.
Or forgets your birthday.
Yeah, that could be the worst thing. But that's your trauma. That's what
true.
You have to deal with.
You clearly don't love me, Dad. I'm always known. You threw quite a whole party, dog. You don't even say happy birthday. It's crazy, actually. Hey, and we're also curious to know from you guys, What is your takeaway from the season? What were your highlights? What were the moments that you truly reflected with and actually saw that this thing I care to ubala lo muntu, no matter the stature that they have in life, it literally happens to anyone. So we're curious to know what your takeaway was. What were your highlights? You know, what are those moments where you even had to call a friend, chomi kuposhebe, like, look, this is actually happening. I'm not alone in this particular situation. Anything else you'd like to add?
I like to find out from you, as a wrap up, like your best moments. I think in the season, I think that's key. Is it one moment? Is it a funny moment, or is it just an aha moment that maybe Kelly and the guys in the show maybe had, killing their friends or family or mother, or that you also like was a moment for you that like resonated, that stuck out?
Wow. I think to me, I've got two sentences for this. Firstly is Kelly's bravery to share. Kelly has not had the most perfect life. She's been in the tabloids for as long as she's had a career up. From her first song, Mina Ngilichi, do you understand? From the jump, her just coming into the industry, then the like all the different things, like we don't even have to go into her name or shame moments, but she hasn't had the most easiest career. But Ukeli is solid, bruh. Like Ukeli is solid. Like
as a person,
Ukeli has made peace with herself. We has understand that this is what makes me me. This is what I need to do to live with myself. You know, and that to me is like my biggest takeaway is that Ukeli is gonna happen and exist whether you guys mess with her or not. Like Ukeli is not here for y'all. If anything, Ukeli is here to share herself with us. It's not the other way around where she feels like we are making her. And a lot of people, when they come into fame, they have to be extra outlandish to get our attention so we can talk about them. Ukeli is, I don't think they will ever run out of things to happen in her life for seasons to keep happening. Do you understand? She's that well-rounded as an individual that I feel that, she's everything. Second to that, my other takeaway was the relationship that was like slightly spoken about in the series of her and her sister. And the fallout that they had, and how her mom is like trying to like remain
neutral.
Maga, like yes, abantwana bomuntu akumelanga balwe amazi mama yakhe ukuthi never sakhe. I was like, you know, like let's not go there, girls. Let's sit in the room, let's talk about it. But to me, what that said to me was, this thing is so big to both Kelly, the mom, and the sister, that even within the show itself, there was ushilo na Kelly ukuthi as like maybe mhlawumbe angikho ready or angifuni ukuzwisisa ukuthi kwenzakeleni, but mina, by my own perspective, this person was like, that's the last thing I could have bet serious monies on anything. But that I was not expecting, and that betrayal that she is showcasing from her sister, to me, I'm like besties with my sister, and I'm already thinking about, guys, take care of the relationships that you have with the people that you love, because like all basically from an outside perspective, all that needed to happen was for the sister to get married to the homie. And then that gave an opportunity for this, whatever happened, to happen. Because it didn't happen before that. I mean, okay, they were touring all along. Yeah. She was benefiting for the fact that you know, she probably was even inspired to start music because her sister gave her the platform. And now to have this person booking events on your behalf and saying, you know, all those kind of things, like the portrayal to me was like, it was top of mind, and all it said to me was, you don't know someone. Like, you don't ever truly know someone. So always have that room of understanding. There could be a day, you know. But I think for anything, I just pray Ukeli finds resolution with herself first, so that she can have resolution with her sister. The same way that she needed a resolution with herself and what was going on in her life and the trends that were going on in her life before she started being able to talk to her mother. Do you understand? So those to me were like big takeaways, man. And I'm very hopeful. We'll see the sisters will find a way.
Yeah.
Maybe in season 3, guys. Yo, DSTV.
I actually have big, genuine hope for that relationship. I think they'll mend it. I feel like blood, like having seen the seasons and how much love and how open and honest Kelly really is as a person.
Yeah.
I think she genuinely still loves her sister. It's a sister,
She's just shook it.
Yeah. So those things happen. I genuinely feel they will gravitate or sort those out or find a common ground. Seeing as also how the mother is pushing, they're also trying to fix things in the family and in the past and all of that. So that would at some point have to be addressed. But I do truly believe that they both still have genuine love, but people fall out, and
and sometimes time does actually heal the hurt.
Yes,
it gives you a different perspective when time has passed. Do you know what I mean? But to this, for you, the same question you asked. What was your biggest takeaway? Your aha moment? Anything that
my biggest takeaway was just really seeing the human side of Kaylee outside of
the stardom.
Yes, outside of the stardom, outside of the tabloids, outside of the running jokes, the memes, there's a lot that's been said about her. And just also her being, you can see Gucci, she's not shooked by everything, the noise around her. She's very
it's almost like she has a room in her house where she puts all those things, right? And I'm not showing up.
Watching the show, you get to see Gucci. She knows the story. She knows who she is. She's honest to a fault, or even just open. Let me say open, and has accepted all of her flaws, drama, everything that's happened, even the dating. She speaks openly, oh yeah, me and Chad we got engaged, and the reasons why he asked to my kids, but I don't even want to say she's we move, but she accepts and owns up to whatever parts of she played in all of any of the situations. And then life has to go on. She hasn't succumbed to I'm the person that people say this is me. So now everywhere I go, I'm cowering because everybody says, oh you this Kelly today, and that's the one takeout that resonated with me. Would see how open and honest to her truth she is. And then the second thing was just actually how funny she is.
Nah, I was actually about to go there.
It's yo, bro, the jabs,
what about
even the way she speaks, her enunciation, and what she says. I'm always dying. Yo, Kelly, the jab to the kid with the Christian, with
I don't take you to school.
Braggets. What do you mean?
You mean brand or you mean brought? I don't take you to such an expensive school for you to speak broken English.
In front of the kids' and it wasn't those moments where it's
fix yourself.
She's being rude to the kid. It's it was in love. And
of course, as dramatic as she was.
Yes.
In the moment.
The funny moments.
Has Kelly ever acted?
Has she?
I feel like Kelly still acting, man. Because I feel like she's got it. It's on cue. She ready, bruh. Wow.
Yeah, she definitely could. Yeah, people from the reality show get on TV.
That is so crazy. Guadalajara, are those all your views on Life with Kelly Kumar season 2?
After being ambushed to do this, which I must say, those were my thoughts.
And your takeaways,
my takeaways, yeah.
Yeah, no
really
prep.
Yes,
You didn't have to put no prep.
When did you start recording? I was like, what? Is it on?
I was glad to have been put onto this to share my perspective. And for the fact that I would see I'm not a TV person, and I had to open up myself to now watching reality shows, and I know there was a lot of takeaways, and it just makes one realize that stop being so hard on yourself. Stop feeling like one era means it's the end of the world. There are people out there who have more to lose, and they are still committed to living their truth. Now, us cocooned in our unit, whatever. You know what I mean?
Coming from my unit.
We're refusing to
Coming
be
from
great.
units.
Kwanele, Njayams, go be great. Like, allow, dog. Like, so we can have a series on YouTube. Yes! Thank you guys for tuning in. That was a lovely episode talking
Are there
about
gonna be more? Are there gonna be more of these?
answers. Do you guys want us to make more reviews? If you do, actually, let us know, and then Ukwanele and I will be able to jump onto those. We'll be happy to do that. And yeah, thank you for tuning in and watching.
Follow me on socials. It was a
Gogo,
pleasure
man.
doing this. Goat E Digital on Twitter, everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Yes, you'll find me. Gogo, write somewhere. I don't know.
The influencer, guys. I'm so cool. I hang around influencers.
Is this you?
Thank you, guys. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.